Hello, thanks for joining us, watching this teaser video from Pukajay Productions from our upcoming documentary on ancient civilizations. You're looking at the Step Pyramid of Zoser there in the background. Technically, a series of stacked mastabas, so not a true pyramid, but ironically, one of the only pyramids that was probably intended for real as a tomb. And in the background here we see WNAS's pyramid. WNAS was a 6th dynasty pharaoh, and we attribute this pyramid to him because of the incredible text written on the walls of the chamber inside. It is of course possible that those texts were painted on an older wall, but this is the Egyptological dating method. This whole site has catacombs, tunnels, shafts, passages underneath it, as most of these sites do. What you're looking at here is a Shen ring, or cartouche, as it's called. Inside here is actually a descriptive Saqqara, which is usually outside of the Shen ring, and then the name of the pharaoh underneath, WNAS. Mohammed Ibrahim on the left here is an Egyptologist, and he is giving a translation of Saqqara as son of the sun or child of the sun. And this is the name WNAS right there. You can't really see the N, which is the squiggly water symbol, but it is there. Mohammed Ibrahim is saying that this pyramid, of course, is generally known as Unas Pyramid, but it's a mistranslation of the original archaeologists or translators of the cartouches at any rate. And the actual name is WNAS. They still have that name in Egypt today, and WNAS is a popular character in some of their literature. The word WNAS also has a meaning, as Yousef points out, of stay with me or exist with me, has a sort of a comforting connotation. There were 1st and 2nd dynasty remains found buried around this pyramid, which again would kind of suggest this pyramid was already in existence at that time. As you pan around, you can see a lot of the different types of stone that you find, particularly the older sites. A lot of time you'll find the red granite, the limestone, the alabaster, basalt, schist, slate, gneiss, all these different kinds of stones that they seem to use for very specific purposes. We'll talk about that more in the documentary. Here, Mohammed Ibrahim is explaining that the 6th dynasty burial definitely occurred here, but was quite possibly a repurposing of an older structure. This is something you see again in Egypt, all over the place. Yeah. Prior buildings being used by later generations. One of the things you find at this site, as well as some of the other very important sites like Abu Sir, is alabaster floors with water channels cut in them, like you can see going from left to right across the screen. The alabaster is the whiter floor underneath. The limestone is the later floor put on top. And so for some reason they've brought in alabaster, which is difficult to work with. It's much more expensive. It comes from further away. And they've made a floor out of it with water channels, and then they've covered it with a plain-looking limestone floor. So what is the purpose of that? It's unlikely that that was a random whim. These water channels here are broken up, but at Abu Sir you can follow the trail of them, and indeed Egyptologists like to say it's a primitive sewer system, but at Abu Sir it drains out, if you follow the path, into a large red granite bowl, and I somehow doubt the ancient Egyptians were collecting their sewage in a red granite bowl. It would seem odd to me. But water does seem to be very important at many ancient sites, running underneath the sites like aquifers, and certainly that's the case with all the important major sites next to the Nile. This shaft, one of the shafts around this site, had a Persian burial in it. They date this shaft to the Persian burial, but again it's possible that the shaft pre-existed the burial. Many of these shafts, passages, catacombs, etc. all connect, and in fact it is possible that not just under this site but maybe 2 other sites as well. This is water damage you're looking at here, as confirmed by geologist Susan Moore, and you have to wonder, in an extremely arid climate like Egypt's, which really hasn't changed in 7,000 or 8,000 years, how long it takes for moisture damage of this kind to occur. Here's Ben, disappearing. So come and join us. This place was closed for almost 30 years. We were very fortunate to be some of the first people to go down and have a look inside. Please join us in the next video.